The chronology of the first dynasty of Babylonia is debated, as there is a Babylonian king list A and a Babylonian king list B. In this chronology, the regnal years of list A are used due to their wide usage. The reigns in list B are longer, in general. The short chronology. Origins of the first dynasty. The actual origins of the dynasty are rather hard to pinpoint with great certainty, simply because Babylon itself, due to a high water table, yields very few archaeological materials intact. Thus any evidence must come from surrounding regions and written records. Not much is known about the kings from Sumubum through Sinmu Bulit other than the fact they were Amorites rather than indigenous Akkadians. What is known, however, is that they accumulated little land. When Hammurabi ascended the throne of Babylon, the empire only consisted of a few towns in the surrounding area: Dilbat, Sippar, Kish, and Borsippa. Once Hammurabi was king, his military victories gained land for the empire. However, Babylon remained but one of several important areas in Mesopotamia, along with Assyria, then ruled by Shamshi-Adad I, and Larsa, then ruled by Rim-Sinai. In Hammurabi's 30th year as king, he really began to establish Babylon as the center of what would be a great empire. In that year, he conquered Larsa from Rim-Sinai, thus gaining control over the lucrative urban centers of Nippur, Uruk, and Ising. In essence, Hammurabi gained control over all of South Mesopotamia. The other formidable political power in the region in the second millennium was Esnunna, which Hammurabi succeeded in capturing in c. 1761. Babylon exploited Esnunna's well-established commercial trade routes and the economic stability that came with them. It was not long before Hammurabi's army took Assyria and parts of the Zagros Mountains. In 1760, Hammurabi finally captured Mari, the final piece of the puzzle that gave him control over virtually all of the territory that made up Mesopotamia under the third dynasty of in the third millennium. Hammurabi's other name was Hammurapi Ilu, meaning Hammurapi the god, or perhaps Hammurapi as God. He could have been Amraphel, king of Shinar or Sinia in the Jewish records and the Bible, a contemporary of Abraham. Abraham lived from 1871 to 1784. According to modern interpretations of the Old Testament's figures that have been usually reckoned in modern half years before the Exodus. From equinox to equinox. A recent translation of the Choagavani tablets, which date back to 1800 BC, indicates there were close contacts between this town located in the intermontane valley of Islamabad in central Zagros and Diyala region. The Venus tablets of Ammasaduqa are famous, and several books had been published about them. Several dates have been offered, but the old dates of many source books seems to be outdated and incorrect. There are further difficulties. The 21 years span of the detailed observations of the planet Venus may or may not coincide with the reign of this king, because his name is not mentioned, only the year of the Golden Throne. A few sources, some printed almost a century ago, claim that the original text mentions an occultation of the Venus by the moon. However, this may be a misinterpretation. Calculations support 1659 for the fall of Babylon, based on the statistical probability of dating based on the planet's observations. The presently accepted middle chronology is too low from the astronomical point of view. A text about the fall of Babylon by the Hittites of Mursalisa at the end of Samsudatana's reign, which tells about a twin eclipse, is crucial for a correct Babylonian chronology. The pair of lunar and solar eclipses occurred in the month Shimanu. The lunar eclipse took place on February 9, 1659 BC. It started at 4:43 and ended at 6:47. The latter was invisible, which satisfies the record which tells that the setting moon was still eclipsed. The solar eclipse occurred on February 23, 1659. It started at 10:26, has its maximum at 11:45, and ended at 13:04.